Thanks for joining us. I'm Paula Eben with the WBZ News Update. Top stories this Friday. The woman at the center of a violent arrest in Lynn is expected in court today. Lynn police say this body camera footage shows Jessica Wagle refusing to leave an apartment. She also had outstanding warrants. They say she kicked and tried to bite an officer. The video shows officers hitting her in the head 3 times and using pepper spray before taking her into custody. Lynn police say a preliminary review shows the officers' actions were justified. Crime scene tape is up in a Roxbury neighborhood after a stabbing on Quincy Street. Boston police say they found one person stabbed about 7:30 this morning. Paramedics took that person to the hospital, but they should survive. No word on any arrests. And there's a debate in Rhode Island over a new bill which would impact people with autism. This legislation would let the DMV create a driver's license with a special mark for drivers with autism. Drivers could also choose to put a decal on their car or carry information with them in blue envelopes, letting police officers know the best ways to communicate. All markings would be voluntary. A teenager with autism requested this bill. Advocates say while there are good intentions behind it, it could make some members of the autism community feel like targets. We're in a next weather alert. Our meteorologists are tracking another round of wintry weather, but it has the potential to bring snow and sleet to some this weekend. Let's check in with meteorologist Zach Green for the latest forecast.
Pretty amazing scene, not only here in southern New England, but across the entire northern side of the United States. A very strong, if not severe, geomagnetic storm has been the storyline for the past 2 days. And last evening, Cal Pesh sent this one in, and early this morning, the clouds were still thin enough that we were able to catch a little bit of a glimpse. Now that the clouds have filled back in, I think we're unfortunately going to have any more scenes of that, but we may do enough to kind of break out little hints of sunshine here and there through the end of the day. So just prior to sunset, we may start to see that overcast scene disperse just a little bit. As of now, temperatures are kind of locked between the mid and upper 40s from Boston and areas south. A little bit cooler as we move to the north of the Pike, and 42 degrees always is a little deceiving in Worcester, as that gauge is actually 1,000 feet in elevation. So not exactly telling the story of the city, but with a calm breeze anywhere from 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the northwest, I still think an extra layer will be on your side, even though we're likely going to approach the low 50s when all is said and done. So we see that checked off generally south of the city. I think probably along the 95 corridor. The closer we get to the water, the cooler will ultimately be. But you notice we start to break things apart little by little right around the 6 to 8 o'clock window. So ultimately your Friday evening plans are doing just fine. But we are going to cool off back into the 30s overnight. And this cooler setup is going to allow some of the snow to actually stick around, especially in central and western Massachusetts at the onset of this system, which is likely right around midday, maybe an hour or two earlier once we go out towards Berkshire County. Nonetheless, I do think that we'll start to erode and see things kind of move to the east of 495 over about a 4-hour window. So 1 to 3 o'clock to the north of the Pike, this thump of snow is actually going to reduce visibility. To the south and east, it's going to be plain rain, so a little easier to manage along the 195 corridor, 3 and 3A, maybe 24 getting into more of a sleet profile right in the middle of the afternoon. But most of us will transition over into plain rain as we go into the end of the day. So what's left over for the snow will be some scattered coatings, especially on grassy surfaces rather than on pavement, but a few slick spots are going to be possible along the Route 2 corridor and for areas farther north, more in that slushy 1 to 3 potential. This is not light, airy, fluffy snow. It is going to be more in that late March standard where we're getting a little bit closer to spring. We're in daytime. We got the stronger sun angle. It's really tough for a lot of this to ultimately stack up. A little bit of ice possibility on the western side of the state, though, and that's going to allow for obviously some more treacherous travel. So if you are thinking of heading out towards the Berkshires or say southern Vermont to go skiing or otherwise, you definitely want to take note of that. Visibility issue in that short window with those squalls kind of rolling on through, especially along the Route 2 corridor. Route 3 may be included as well. But if you're looking for a winner of the weekend, don't wait long. Sunday is going to be great. We're gradually increasing the blue sky. We're back into the mid 50s as we go into the second half of the day. We'll keep the 50s in play early next week, but Tuesday into Wednesday has another quick shot of snow. Shouldn't be much of a hassle, very similar to what we get for tomorrow. The temperatures are just too warm to allow anything to stick around. So Saturday as of now is our only weather alert day, but we may do enough to introduce it into pockets of next week too.
I'm Paula Eben. This has been a WBZ News Update.